make sure YouTube's going. YouTube. Come on. There it is.
It's thinking about it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. All right. So I'll be right back. One moment. Welcome, everybody sneaking in. Oh my gosh, we've already got a little crowd. Look at all these folks. Hello. Hello, hello. I'll be right with you guys. One moment. Right. Check 1, 2 audio levels. Oh, it looks really good actually. Whew. All right. Okie dokie. I think it is. It's time. It's time. Let's push some buttons. Get this going. There's some conversations to be had. There's a lot. There's a lot to kind of like go over today, honestly. I might, after the stream, I might like post what it is that I'm referring to, because you're all just probably like, what is he talking about? There's nothing to see. There's nothing. What could he possibly be referring to? So yeah, don't worry too much about that. Don't worry too much about that. What you should be worrying about is the volume of the game, which is black. Come here, game. Come here, please. Thank you. Come on. There it is. Awesome. Perfect. So I did some tweaking with the sound of the game. It's way too low. Hang on. Nope, we gotta change that. We're just gonna, oh, I forgot to adjust it actually, never mind. Yes! Oh, we're just rolling right in with sheer perfection like we do every single Friday. We never have any technical issues, and absolutely not because of the streamer. Welcome all of you this Friday to the official ROCKFISH Games stream. I am your host, Eric Schrader, the community ambassador for ROCKFISH Games. I am your guide through all things EVERSPACE 2. I'm going to be showing you some new stuff pertaining to the rifts and how they're evolving. We're also going to have a little conversation on the plan for those rifts. I know last week was like your very first look into them, and there were a lot of thoughts. You know, you guys had a lot of things to say. It seemed like there were kind of two bodies of people out there. We had the first body that was more like, oh, hey, this is a really cool concept. I like where it's going. And then we had another one that says, these look exactly the same as something that's already in the game. And so both are correct. But I think it's important to note that what you saw is that foundational effort moving forward. It's that jumping off platform that we've established with these rifts. And you're going to see, at least I hope you're going to see, quite a difference in how these rifts look today than last week. And then if we do rifts again next week, which I'm not sure if that's going to be the plan or not, we might need to hold off because there's a lot of things moving on this territory, guys. There's a lot moving. you'll see even more development on that front. It's just gonna keep getting crazier and crazier and crazier. So really looking forward to you joining me for a good time. Oh, I actually need to adjust one thing in the stream because we don't want you to see it yet. So 1 second. Oh my gosh. We're starting the stream and then I'm backing out. Nope, stream's canceled. Everyone go home. Oh my goodness. One quick thought promise. It'll be super fast. Super fast. And we're back, just like that. No big deal whatsoever. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what we have here, we have our build. No, this is a different build. I think this is a completely different build than what we had last week. I think we were flying the Vindicator and we had Bob. We had the drone named Bob. It was so delightful. It's a legendary cargo unit. Gives you a permanent drone. So I kind of went ahead and I just like wiped my inventory. This isn't, like the attributes are just completely wild. If I really wanted to make this build better, I would put more in utility actually, because we're gonna be using a lot of devices here. So just a quick run through of this build. We kind of have a little bit of a standard kinetic and energy combination here, and then our general overwhelming force that if we can land shots on, it'll be good for us. So this auto cannon, rapid gas cannon, and a thermo gun. We also have armor breaker and shield breaker missiles. Nothing super crazy about any of this gear in particular. Like this is just kind of your mid-range level 20-ish stuff that you're gonna have. So it's a little hard to start creating combinations just yet, but we are utilizing a couple perks that should benefit us here. We've got defensive massacre to get our shield back up. Should be useful for this striker who's always in the fray. We got play it safe, always comes in a pinch. Right? Always comes in a pinch. We've got crit happens. I'm gonna try this out, even though, I mean, our precision's terrible. That should probably change actually. Let's change that. Let's just go change that right now. It's not gonna pop a lot. So let's just adjust it. Let's instead have increased weapon energy capacity, because I think we have 3 installed warfare devices. Yeah, that's gonna be much more beneficial. So that's 60% increased weapon energy capacity. We should be able to fire for days. And then last but not least, we have critical faculty, which I also think I'm gonna change straight up to unyielding assault. This is going to give us armor back when we pop the alt versus critical faculty, which is more applicable to critical hits, and our critical hits kind of suck in this build. So that's what we're gonna go in this direction with now. Aside from that, this is what we look like, this Osprey. I changed the color around because why not? It's fun, you know, it's enjoyable. And is there anything else? Oh yeah, the devices. We are using Parting Gift, mainly for mobility, but that Parting Gift mine can do a little bit of damage. This has been nerfed, so it doesn't deal, I can't remember the numbers before, but it was quite literally doing like 1,000% damage. Now it's problematic. So we've adjusted that. I'm also using Short Circuit, a very popular mode on the EMP generator, but I think it's gonna be really good here because we're gonna be focusing on a lot of crowd control. We have Corrosion Injector, Mercy Kill to focus in on a single target, and then these, in combination with a passive, which we'll talk about in a second, are also gonna work quite well with comorbidity. I can't say it, guys. Like, words are hard, okay? It's the second mode. An Annihilator Virus. It's the one that deals bonus damage for each additional debuff on the target, okay? That's what you need to know. It deals bonus damage for each debuff on the target. So, if you've been playing along, you'll know that the EMP generator adds an effect on your enemy, right? If you use Corrosion Injector on a single target, it's gonna start bringing them down fast. With Mercy Kill, we can transfer it around if we can focus fire in on them. Those are both gonna be expanded upon by the Annihilator Virus usage here. In addition to our delightful use of Corrosion Injector, we can really focus down a problematic target by using this passive on this striker. In the middle, it says locked enemy targets suffer 20% speed reduction. That counts as a debuff. So just inherently locking a target down when we trigger Annihilator Virus, they're going to have 20% increased damage from this. Just straight up, just from being targeted by us. That's it. Just that alone. So then if they're also affected by these two other things, that's a 60% increase in damage. Woo! Quite effective. All right. So that's kind of what we're cycling around. We're still gonna need the mobility. You'll see in a second. The challenge that we face today is gonna be ramped up considerably from last week. Now, if you were here last week, I think I see a lot of people sneaking in who were here last week, and that's great. Thank you for returning. Happy to show you how this has evolved. A lot of you guys last week know that when we created this ancient rift, it just threw us right in. That's changed. So now comes the part where I explain a very important aspect of our end game ancient rifting. This is the Lunacy level. Okay? What happens when you start a rift is you will adjust the level of the Lunacy. Okay? Starts from 0, which makes enemies super easy. The loot quality doesn't change. Legendary crafting parts will have a low amount here, but there's no chance to get legendary equipment whatsoever. As you increase this, you'll notice that these numbers and these statements down here actually change with it. I know some of you out there, I mean, you're gamers, right? So you're looking at this and you're like, oh yeah, so it's kind of like the torment system in Diablo 3. Yes, it's kind of like that. That was the first thing that came to my mind. I think we also took inspiration from several other games, and I'm sure that you guys are knowing them out there immediately. But that's where a lot of this foundational establishment of that challenge factor, as well as that in-game grind, if you will. I hate using the word grind, but that's where you're gonna get a lot of value by going through these rifts over and over and over again. So a couple other quick points to note. I am not level 30. Generally speaking, when you are going through these rifts, we want you to be prepared as well as you can. You can still do them when you're not, because obviously I can choose it right here. However, you do not gain experience inside of ancient rifts. This is very intentional. Very intentional. Ancient rifts is what you do when you want to get that legendary stuffs. But if you want to level up, you gotta go do the jobs. You gotta go do the missions. You gotta go do HRAs. You gotta go complete the campaign. You gotta complete the challenges. You gotta do the X, Ys, and Zs. That's gonna progress you on that front. Here is where we're really going after that loot that you are probably looking for to maximize your builds, to get crazy, all of that stuff. And that's what we're establishing here through this Lunacy system. Now, I have been practicing this a little bit because it's hard. And you guys know that I'm like not amazing at this game, all right? There are definitely those who are far more skilled than I am. But the way that this system is designed is like there's no possible way you're gonna complete this if you don't have a legendary. I can just straight up say that right now. And I know someone out there is thinking, challenge accepted, I'm gonna do that. Oh man, I'm gonna show you what's up whenever the fall update goes. All right then, that's your challenge. I guarantee you can't do it. That's how crazy this is. So I'm gonna dial it back. I was practicing at 200s and I'm having a really hard time with them. I'm gonna try it once here, see if I can like unleash my inner beast and accomplish this. If I do, I'm gonna feel really good, and I'm just gonna keep scratching my heads on how Marco completed at 300, I think, if Marco's in the stream. Or maybe he said 200, I can't remember. Either way, I'm gonna try at this 200 level. You're gonna see just how crazy it is. I want that good chance for legendary equipment to drop. Regardless or not, if I complete this run, we will be going back through them. I'm gonna be showing you legendaries regardless of if they drop for me or not. And we're gonna have a good time. So let's get started. Also, sound effects. Here we go. All right, so a lot of what you're seeing immediately is me trying to do as much coverage as possible in a short amount of time, and then hoping that my devices get back up, because our resolve is effectively this timer. You see that in the upper right above my head? For how long you have until you lose and you are kicked out of the rift, regardless of the progress that you've made, regardless of how successful you were to that point, you are immediately kicked out. Doesn't matter if you've made it all the way to the boss or you were just at the beginning, forcibly removes you. So if you're going at too high of a level, the game will tell you. Let's try and space some things out. Man, I'm getting a lot of those legendary drops. So a couple other things that I want to talk about while I'm doing this rift. And yes, it's going to require a bit of my focus, so I'm going to miss a little bit of chat. So thank you for your patience on that front. I will make sure that I answer those questions, though, that you have through the course of these runs. But one of the things to point out is that we have been having some conversation regarding the pool of enemies, like the combinations thereof. Because sometimes internally we are already not really liking the randomness that happens. Because you can have outlaws that don't really pose too much of a threat because they're combined with like an Okar shield generator, and they don't have very many shields anyway. So it's like, okay, well, that doesn't work. We are also looking into additional mutators, of course. You guys knew that already. But even like today, we were having some conversations. Well, I was having a conversation, at least specifically, about like certain ways that we can transform that and what that looks like. And this is going to be something that is visited in the future. Just know that we are certainly not done with the types of enemies that are being generated here. How many, all that stuff. Focus him down. I really don't want to deal with a prospector from long range. I can do a healthy bit of punishing, actually. There we go. Glad he was EMP'd. Woo! All right. Almost have our progress reached. There we go. Perfect. So, a couple things to note. Above me, the resolve says 52%. That no longer matters. It's only applicable to the stage you are in. Because we are past this stage, our resolve will now go to 100% in the next one, where we do it all again on the timer to try and best it. I love how I've invoked individuals saying, "You don't understand your player base for such a challenge." That's right. Yep, I don't understand you guys whatsoever. All right, let's get into our next area. We're gonna do the enemies slowly repair their hull. I think this one's gonna be fine with our crowd control.
I'm not alone anymore.
I wanna read this comment. This is an important comment to read. Considering I can't even recall the last time I came even close to death with my current build, I don't see 500% stopping me, unless my build gets nerfed. Guys, I hope that you know that the game state is absolutely perfect and no additional balance changes are required since it's absolutely perfect. So I can 100% assure you that whatever you're using right now is not going to change in the slightest. I'm telling you, it's like golden perfection out there. Every single weapon, the stats, it's like chef's kiss, all right? Everything is working perfectly as intended. I think you get my point. There's gonna be a lot of adjustments on this front. And the rifts, regardless of where they're at, even in my current Dove build, where they will be at in the fall update is going to be an insane challenge. If you guys are up for that, by all means, I hope that you are. I know there's some very cocky, very confident people out there. And absolutely, this challenge is for you. This challenge is absolutely for you. Make me eat my words. I want you to. So, yeah. Cheeky Eric today in stream, yeah? Development's been good, guys. Development's been really good. Oh, our progress is not going so hot here. Come on. There we go. Okay. Also, if you guys are wondering, hey, why aren't you picking up the things floating in space? Because it's not quite done yet. And there's a conversation around that will happen probably in the future. But the short of it is we want to have, there's going to be stuff pertaining to crafting that's also collected in the course of these rifts. And that's what those droppables are. But there's no purpose for me picking them up because there's literally nothing I can use them for. So there's no potential for showcasing them. Also, the drop rate's bonkers. Whoop, whoop. Ow, ow, ow. Here's a good target. Excellent. So I know some of you are also probably watching this right now and thinking, oh man, this doesn't look too hard. It's coming together so easily. Yes and no. If I wasn't doing my due diligence to dodge these, the impact that these guys have through this particular build would be raining on my parade pretty hard. So I do have to try and balance my boosting as well as my aggression in order to make sure I don't lose the resolve. There we go, good, good. No. Slow down there, you. Maybe a little too much. Excellent, excellent. I am so looking forward to the questions because of the cheeky statements that I've been making. Woo! Ding. Hang on a second. All right. And it looks like I'm gonna get hurt real hard. Okay, there we go. I was getting Weber missiled. That was gonna be very bad. Okay, very good. Oh my gosh. Hans Christian, for when you're watching the VOD, just look at this. Based on our conversation. Whew, he's gonna know what's up. All right. Next portal. We are doing okay. This is kind of okay, but the crowd control is gonna have diminishing returns, so I think we're gonna have to use another one. Drop mines when destroyed, and enemies leave behind corrosion fields when killed. All of these portals that you see, the mutators are everything that you have already seen. We have not added mutators that are going to be added in our dev build because we want to have some fun with those. But I do want to assure you guys, there are new mutators to appear both in HRAs as well as rifts, including the possibility of having some exclusive to both. So, I don't want corrosion fields either. That's going to hurt. So, all of these are going to hurt. I think we're going to have to do corrosion fields. All right. Here we go. We're getting into the starting to be challenging territory for where this particular build is at. Okay, some pull car. He's got to go down first. Can't have you sticking around, no sir. That should be enough. All right. Slow down, sir. All right. Reset ourselves. Oh, yikes. That was that was close. Man, we are struggling to get our progress forward. Ah! Okay, this should help us out a bit. If I could choose a better target next time, that might make it even go further. I saved a little bit of my ult though, so that's good. Woo! Behind the shield, all right. Next target. This is gonna be our big one. I should be doing a lot of damage when it pops. Am I killing before it pops? He survived? Oh, how dare he. Oh, that's a different one. Okay, all right. Oh, I don't like the retaliators here. I do not want to build up heat. That in conjunction with the corrosion could be a serious amount of danger for me. Alright, okay. Alright, good pop. There you are. Ah! Something hit me real hard. Might have been those mines. There you are. You've got to go. Woo! Quick breather. My goodness. All right, from here, we only have one more location to go. And because I know that it's probably going to be asked inevitably, I'm not going to say anything about there being 4 particular stages. But I'll certainly answer any questions maybe about that. Let's see what we find over on the other side, which is definitely incomplete and not done. All right. That's a lot of shields. It's a lot less shields. That's a lot of damage. Okay. It's looking fine. All right, cool. Cool! All right, I think I can beef myself up to Lunacy 250, especially now we have a legendary. So that'll be, we'll go up a step. All right. I should have anticipated the team was going to try and do something like that. I didn't get jump scared though. Did you? I knew there was that little update that was added today, and I was just thinking, I wonder what that could possibly be. You know what? It's a holiday weekend. Was that Andy? Andy? Was that you? I'm fine though. I'm good. Are you guys good out there? I hope that you're fantastic. What a devious addition. Eye of the Storm! Yes! Okay, so we actually got this one last stream, I think. But it's like one of my favorites. So secondary weapons will always critical hit while your ult charge is below 50%. I quite like it. If we didn't get this one last stream, I can't remember if we did or not. But this one, this can make your missiles absurdly powerful. So yeah, this is nice. This might actually be the motivation to changing to a crit build right here in and of itself. Because if we can guarantee crits, then we can do so much more. Let's see. Scorpion missiles could be interesting. I wonder how that works with crits though. Legit wondering how, Dr. Uyu, do you know, how the crit effect would be with a powerful Scorpion missile? I think it would just apply the first strike and then from there it wouldn't do anything else, which would be lame. So we're probably gonna go with something else. We didn't get anything. Ooh. I spoke too soon. Let's see. We are gonna get rid of this other stuff though. We're a striker. It should be fine. ST shield with our perk that regenerates shields with kills. Yes, please. And an eco booster. I'm gonna keep what I have. Thank you very much. All right. So I'm just gonna hover over this so you guys can see it. So in short, legendaries. Let's briefly talk about those and then we're gonna move into questions. No, I lied. We're gonna go into questions and then we're gonna talk about legendaries. That's what we're gonna do, in fact. So Geekbite, are you on the line there with me?
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone.
Wonderful.
Yes, I'm definitely here. Oh, they've been typing away. I
know. I laid down a challenge and everyone got pissed off at me. I saw that.
You did.
And you know what? And that's great. I hope that I have engaged the fury. So let's see what these questions are.
Right, first up, we've got Vex98 from YouTube. It's a question pertaining to last week's stream, actually. Last stream, you used a legendary that revived enemies to your side. Will the Vindicator drones also trigger that effect, or is it only primary or secondary weapon kills?
This is a fantastic question that I don't know the answer to. For two reasons. One, because I didn't code it in, and two, because that might be applicable to the way that we go about balance changes. I feel like it should happen whenever the drones get the kills too. Because, I mean, they're doing chip damage for you, and if they got the last shot in and you didn't, then you would not effectively be getting your legendary, and that would suck. That would suck a lot. The proc, I mean to say. So, pretty confident that the intent is that the drones would also trigger it. But I will find out and give you a more definitive answer on that. Hopefully in the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, I encourage you to join. Oh, I see Hans Christian floating in here. Hans Christian, do you know the answer to that? Because if you do, everyone would love you even more. But no pressure if you don't know. But sincerely, I do think the intent is to have your drones also trigger proc effects in general. Yeah, I'll see if I can get you a more robust answer. Otherwise, join the Discord, and when I get that, I'll send it on to you. So I'm gonna write that note down so I don't forget to answer it. Otherwise, let's go into the next question.
Next up is from Slorin Tetson over on YouTube. Will battle mode restrictions be the same in Ancient Rifts, or will the penalties for switching out gear be more severe?
I love this
Hans
question.
Christian has actually answered this as well.
Yeah, perfect.
Just to say, you can't switch equipment in Rifts.
Correct, yeah. So when you engage in a rift, and we'll just do another one. I'm gonna boost up to 250. I'm probably gonna die. I don't care, we gotta try, right? We gotta try. So, when you go into a rift, you are going to have stuff show up here that indicates you can't change anything. It all is completely bound, it's all completely locked. So if you are looking to try and get cheeky with how you're like cycling things in and out, the entirety of the rift at this time, that might be important. The entirety of this rift at this time has it to where everything is locked. Everything is locked. Can't do a dang thing. Can't upgrade, can't modify, can't replace, can't do anything. And it doesn't just end there. Your devices are also locked. You can't even change the mode. So if you were trying to be cheeky or something and you like were adjusting your combinations based on the enemies that showed up, because there might be specific enemies that show up in groups as opposed to entirely random in the future, I don't know. You can't just on the fly account for that. Your build that you enter into the rift with is locked in, no changes. Something to also consider regarding this, you cannot craft. So your consumables, once they're out, they're out. Your secondaries, once they're out, they're out. I also intentionally rejoined this for one point to note. I had 0 out of 8 missiles on my armor breaker missiles. When you enter a rift, just naturally, it bypasses the standard rules of the game, refills your secondary ammo, and also gives you 100% ult to start and full health. This is what happens at the start of a rift, okay? I know someone out there's like, oh, well, it's a cheeky way to bypass the repair system. I mean, I guess, like, this is gonna be something that unlocks much later in the game, so if you feel like you're cheating the system by doing that at that point in the game, I mean, congratulations, I suppose. But we look at this as more of a quality of life feature in order to approach the rifts in a healthy capacity, because when you start a rift and you look up and you're like, oh, I should have repaired my armor, that doesn't feel good. So screw that noise. We just said, you know what, let's fill it all up for you. Just fill it all up. Yeah, can't craft consumables. Yep, all right, so cool. Yeah, that was a lot of additional information for that question, but wanted to be incredibly thorough. So thanks, Hans Christian, for answering it. And hopefully that was thorough. All right, next question, please.
Excellent. That did actually answer Sloren's follow-up question regarding consumables.
Yeah.
Now, actually, a question for me. If one of your consumable slots was empty, would you be able to put one of those in when you're in a rift? Or are you locked out?
Nope, completely locked out. So I would not be able to move this up here. It's going to be completely locked out. So even though this is hanging out here, and maybe I'll show that in this rift, the interaction, at least that's planned, is that you cannot equip anything, including your consumables. So if it happens to be where I can, that's actually a bug, but the intent is to not be able to do that. You can't fill your cargo with tons of consumables, go into a rift and just spam them, put them back in, spam them, put them back in. You can't do that. Cannot do that. Cool. Next one. That's a great follow-up. Great follow-up.
Cool. Right, Wizard Jerry on YouTube has asked, will this passive target speed reduction trigger exploitation, which is the Adam level 25 perk?
So your question specifically, increased critical hit chance when attacking enemies whose movement is impaired. No, it basically would not be utilized whatsoever because you already have 100% critical hit chance, so long as your ult is below 50%. Now, if you use exploitation in conjunction with this legendary, I still think that that's a smart play, because now what you're doing is you're just increasing all of your additional proc chances to boot. This only applies to secondaries, right? So if you're running a precision build and you're trying to maximize this, and this is not built for a precision build, but whatever. Like, if you're going in that direction, just everything slapping in to enhance, you know, that critical hit chance galore is gonna be, it's gonna be amazing, right? It's gonna be amazing. So yeah, you can't have 50% more crit chance than 100%, but it will apply the second these conditions aren't met, as well as to everything else that you have. And yes, exploitation plus the passive of that I actually am using, locked enemy targets suffer 20% speed reduction. It's huge, yes. Completely agree. All right, next question.
Next up is T3 Cube from Twitch. I think they were a bit surprised because he said, wait, legendary crafting components? I thought you guys said legendaries were not going to be craftable. Now, I don't know if it was just something you said specifically.
I mean, I can't craft legendaries, so that must mean it's not going to happen, right? I mean, of course we have some plans in the future pertaining to, you know, end game crafting. Now, I do want to pull back on that. Let's take one step back. I think this was a conversation we had last week too, just so that you guys are aware. We do not have the intent to make crafting the main way to get the best stuff. However, modifying, we do want to be applicable, very applicable in the in-game state. I'm gonna say that one more time so there's zero confusion. Crafting goods, like your weaponry and stuff, specifically your weaponry, your primary and secondary weapons, this is not how to get the best primary and secondary weapons. Obviously, you can still use crafting to fill yourself out with consumables and utilize the catalysts, of course, but modifying is gonna be that big in-game changer in order to maximize your materials. Excellent. Did I answer the question? Went a little ramble there, didn't I?
Yeah, I think it's good. I'll wait for TQ to come back to us if not.
Okay, cool.
Right, we've got Resergam B7 on YouTube asking, ancient risks with no ancient aliens, what happened to the floating doom bubbles and homing laser spewing sentient black holes? Now, I did answer this myself, and I said just a heads up, the rifts are in a complete state yet, and it's a very early preview, if you will.
Yes. Yeah, and I was told by Hans Christian, and he can confirm. He said that there's technically a chance that they could spawn in, but it's probably not where it needs to be, like, at all. So pretty sure it's like you're not even gonna see it. If we do, it's gonna be like, holy crap, I need to buy a lottery ticket. But still, there's a lot more coming to, like, enemies in this space. Yes. So yeah, sweet. So good question. I like that. All right, let's do so. We're gonna power through. I'm gonna be shorter with these responses so that I can get back to gameplay. So give me a couple more. Here we go.
I've got one more just lined up anyway, and it's actually a good time because you're going to dive back in. It was Resurgam again. Just wondering how rifts are kind of progressed. Is it via kills, damage dealt, time? So a little explanation on how you go through a rift.
This is great. So I'm going to answer this question by diving back into gameplay and just show you directly. So thank you, Geekbyte, for those questions. Thank you all for asking those questions. We love to be as transparent as possible to help you guys understand what the heck is going on. So let's get right into that and talk just a little bit more about these rifts. So as you can see in that upper right, we have kind of that similar progression to the high-risk areas where you have to destroy enemies in order to add to the progression bar, right? Every time we get a kill, based on what type of enemy is destroyed, we make progress. Now, you'll also see there that there's a resolve bar. And every time we get a kill, the resolve bar goes up. Every time we take damage, I think it actually comes down a little bit more. I think. Pretty sure it does. But otherwise, it also is naturally ticking down. So if you are loitering in these areas, if you're like not really too focused on taking out targets and you're trying to be like a sneaky little person and shoot one target at a time and not pull anybody else, that strategy might not work as effectively as you want it to. In fact, the way that the rifts are designed, it's going to be a bit more of that hot and heavy approach. Granted, there are still bits to this that will be adjusted. But ultimately, progress, kill enemies, resolve, time, and is restored through the process of killing enemies. Let's get another kill here. You can kind of see it happening exactly. Oh, I'm not optimizing my device usage. This is something that's going to screw me over if I'm not careful. We might not even complete this first stage based on my resolve currently. We did up the ante here. Yeah, okay, yeah, we're in 250. All right. But yeah, that's kind of that's the base level of approach on that. Also, whenever you complete an area, your resolve resets to 100%. So it doesn't carry over between areas. That could be a little too brutal. We felt like wasn't feeling very good. It's kind of like you get like this momentary break when you complete one. And so that's why it restarts your resolve. So long as it doesn't reach 0%, which I might give you an intentional example of it reaching 0% right here. This is tough. You'll see that everything, it just cancels the rift out. And we're still working on like a couple animations on like what that's gonna look like too, but we might make this. But hopefully you can see just even the difference between one step up of this lunacy. That the challenge is, it's ramping up at a pretty decent pace. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. How am I not destroying your armor? All right, screw it. There we go. Oh, did you hear that noise? If you heard that noise, that meant my resolve was, I think it crossed the 27% threshold, which tells you get your butt in gear, otherwise you're getting kicked out. So you'll have those audio cues for where your resolve's at. So if you're not just like your eyes glued to them, be like, what's my resolve at the whole time? You just hear the cues. You hear those warning sirens and it tells you, you gotta move, you gotta go. Enemy name types hidden, that could be disastrous, honestly. I really need to know. Actually, I can still see the bars. That might not be as bad as I think. Resistant AMP, oh heck no. Well, enemy name types hidden it is. Also, Hans Christian, look, we got people warping in. It's those drones again. Bugs. Oh, aren't bugs just fun? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, Hans Christian. I honestly thought that you nailed it. I swear I did a smoke test. But all right, we're gonna do enemy name types are hidden. Move into the next area. Can you do first-person view? Does anyone know? Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, because I mostly play from a third-person view, I'm only gonna do this just for a freaking moment because I don't wanna die. But yeah, definitely first-person view for those of you who like it. You can also do first-person view without the HUD. There's two third-person views as well. So like this one's the one that's a little bit further away. It's the one that we actually recommend. That's why it's the default setting, of course. But then you can also have one that's a little bit closer. I did actually change the perspective right there. So we are closer to our ship. Oh, that felt wonderful. Then you have the cockpit, and then you have first person without the cockpit. So, but yeah, I'm gonna stay here because I'm comfortable in it and I play better. And I really want to see if I can unlock some more. Oh gosh, I want to see if I can unlock a few more legendaries the way it's intended. Ah, dang it. I did that right before it popped. Oh, that was such a waste. Okay. All right. I do not like where my resolve is at with the amount of progress we've made. We gotta get on this. All right, here we go. Let's try and cluster up. Get some AoE damage. Much better. What is that? What are you? Can't quite tell. Ah, it's a Weber drone! Ah! Well, where'd it go? I gotta get the sniper first! Ah! Okay. Alright. And an interceptor? Come on! That should be enough to down him, though. Actually, overkill. I don't know where that Weber drone went. I hope I killed it with splash damage, though. Ah! No. Give me my shield back. Thank you. All right. I'm sweating a little bit, guys. I'm leaning forward. You know I'm in full gamer mode. When you're leaning forward, you all do it. Woo! Well, that was unfortunate. Oh, sweet! The Annihilator virus bounced. Yay! For a second, I thought that explosion was my ship. I was about to be really sad. Okay. All right, another big target. Ooh, I see a juicy target over there. Ah! All right, come on, devices, don't fail me now. Now, if only my ult was up, that would have been incredibly juicy. Give me those kills, please! Need the kills! Resolve's about to fail! If only I had my ult up! Come on! Give me my ult! Come on! Woo. I used it right at the end! Gosh dang it! I overused my ult again! Ah! That timing. Excuse me, you're supposed to be gone. All right. So one of the key elements there at the end of an area, we want the enemies to not do any more damage to you. So like the second you get that 100% completion, you're safe. You're safe. You reach that, doesn't matter if you have one whole point remaining or whatever, you're safe. All the enemies should stop firing and then warp out, and no more are supposed to be warping in on the zone. So when you see that, it's a bug, it happens, we'll fix it, hopefully. And if we don't, I'm sure you'll be eager to tell us. Woo! All right. Enemy name types are hidden. We got it a second time. I suppose that's fine, because I don't want corrosion fields. Yeah, so we're gonna go here. All right. Here we go. Diving in. All right. That should be a pretty good opener. I think we hit a lot of enemies with that Annihilator virus combo. Do a pretty decent amount of chunk damage. Yeah, they're all weak. That's what I like to see. Ooh. Okay, so I do believe I have been corrected. When you take damage, your resolve does not go down. It is straight up a timer. Of course, that might change, but It is right now straight up a timer. Come on, come on, come on. Ah! You! Ah! Oh, this is gonna be a good one. Oh, that's a good hit. That's a good hit. A lot of coverage on that shot. Yes, yes, yes. Ah! Woo! All right, we're making good progress. It's good. Actually timed that wrong. So for those of you who care about like the details, the intricacies of this build I'm running, I used EMP. Oh no, I guess that was right. That was right. Sorry, I used EMP before I used the Annihilator virus. And this is important because the property of Annihilator virus, this question was actually asked in the Discord right before the stream started. So let me just like pause and show what I'm talking about here. So this 20% bonus damage for each additional debuff on target, it applies the moment Annihilator virus hits the target. So if a target is EMP'd while it already has the Annihilator virus effect on it, it does not then increase the Annihilator virus effect by 20%, okay? It has to be applied to the enemy first, and then it buffs the Annihilator virus damage when it's applied, okay? So that's why that's why I actually ordered my devices in this particular order. So I use from the left to the right, because that adds more damage to basically all enemies that are affected. Ah, that's not what I wanted to do. Come here, you. There we go. So there's that combination again. So I hit everyone with the EMP. They're starting to take a bunch of added damage, but when the Annihilator virus pops, it does 20% more because they were covered by it. I think we're gonna save our ult for the boss if I survive. Woo! That's assuming I survive though. Okay, okay. Come on. Almost there. It's 5% for that kill. That should do it. We'll hit into stage 4. All right, feeling good, feeling good. This is hilarious. All I need is the pressure of you guys watching me. In my testing, I couldn't even complete a freaking Lunacy at 200. Though I suppose I do have a legendary now, so that's helping a lot. All right. Top off this dude. Then we're gonna talk about those legendaries a little bit more. I really hope we get a good one. They're not close enough yet? Oh, come here. Come here, enemies. You're supposed to be closer. Now I'm just being stubborn. I only want to shoot the boss. Sometimes this can be effective. I feel like this build is gonna find the most effective use like that. All right, there we go. Cool. Taken out. All the loot gets pulled in, so do we. Here we go. Woo. Then we're gonna talk a little bit about legendaries. Maybe we'll do another rift. I might also just generate some fun legendaries for you. And then we can either go into screenshots a little bit earlier today, or we can talk a little bit more about the future of rifts. I can provide a little bit more context. Wait, did we not get a legendary? Hang on a second. Wow. That's unfortunate. So guys, I just want to let you know that we do a lot of stuff on our various socials so that, you know, you guys can stay informed about everything going on, and also just have like a generally good understanding of where we're coming from. We like to keep you all in the loops, like sincerely. That's like one of our biggest things. If you're not in the loop, then we feel like we're doing it wrong, okay? So, yeah, just know that. Just know that. We really want to have a good time with you all, and the best way for us to do that is through that level of communication. So give us a follow and a like and all those fancy words that you hear all your favorite content creators say, because this really is the best way to support us and for us to support you. That's really what it comes down to, honestly, is us supporting you. And yeah, and just give me a second, because I'm trying to find a thing. You know, no big deal. And then we'll get right back into the stream. That's totally not me doing anything that I'm not supposed to do. So 1 second, just a short break. Okay, all right, everything's all fine and good and nothing changed whatsoever. Oh my gosh, I got 2 legendary drop. No, I just warped them in, you know it. You know it. We want to see a couple more legendaries. So first thing, this is kind of just an example of how this process works. So remember last week, whenever we got this devotion drop and I was using it, I was like, wow, that takes a lot of alt, and you know, it was like, you know, I think Marco was watching the stream and he went, and Hans Christian was watching the stream, he went, and then we all were talking together and we were like, and so we've already tweaked it. We've already changed it. It's like the first time. So like, this is to truly show you guys like how ever evolving this is, like how freaking real we are being. Like, this is the first time you're experiencing this stuff. And so we're watching it in the streams ourselves through playtesting, and we're having playtesting sessions where we're trying to like figure this all out. And we've already cut that alt cost in half, right? Now it's only 5%. So if you see something through the course of these streams, because this is our freaking bleeding edge development, and you think it's off by a little or a lot, have no fear, because there's a big chance we do too. So yeah, so now let's look at something that's a little bit new. This is something we just added today, I believe. This is the Toxic Revenger. The Toxic Revenger. Whenever the shield has taken damage equal to 5% of its maximum hit points, gain a charge of Toxic Revenge, stacking up to 10 times and causing your primary weapon hits to consume a charge to apply 6 seconds of corrosion. Corrosion damage equals 50% of the weapon's kinetic damage. So it's really great that we've got this calibrated executioner right now. Because that's gonna be such a strong combination. Now, I don't think this will kick me out yet. Okay, good, yeah. So we're still breaking the logic of the game right now, for those who are not aware, when it comes to these legendaries, this is the legendary segment of the stream, so you're aware. When it comes to these legendaries, the plan is at the start, you can only apply one legendary to your ship. This is something that will expand over time. We want to make sure that the inclusion of these legendaries does not allow you to not think about the game anymore. If you were able to kit all of your weaponry with just legendaries across the board, then difficulty doesn't matter anymore. We want you to decide on what is changing in your ship build. Tons and tons and tons of legendary effects is just a bunch of fancy effects, pretty lights. That's not what it's here for. This is here for taking a particular build opportunity and expanding upon it. So for you corrosion fans out there, the Toxic Revenger is going to maximize that damage, especially in conjunction with our calibrated executioner here. So we'll go ahead and utilize that for the next run. I do think it's time for some questions, though. Yes, we got some questions. Yes, no, maybe, Geek Bite? Oh, okay.
Yes. We've got several, and they've been lining up again.
Yeah, no, of course. Like, I keep looking over the chat. I'm like, oh, I know we got questions.
First up, we got a couple from Dominic Troy over on YouTube. And yes, so you guys have been working on legendaries for 2 years. What's changed since? So presumably what's changed since the first ideas and the introduction, etc.
Okay, yeah, so I like this question, and you probably see me like have a borrowed frow there. So let's be real. Let's be super open. We introduced the concept of legendaries since, the beginning of the game space. But working on the legendaries, that's something that happens periodically through that space, right? We did not want to put too much emphasis on the legendaries at the start of the game experience, because we knew that if we did that, it would pigeonhole all other systems around what we designed the legendaries to be. It allows no additional growth for game development to occur naturally. It also restricts a lot of the feedback that we would get from you guys. Not cool, right? So what we've done is, when we started out, we're like, we want to have these legendary things we can have a lot of fun to play around with, like this, like that. Did not implement any of it, aside from as a tier, but that was scratched. In this state now, I believe we've been working on legendaries for 2 months? Maybe less than that? Hans Christian might be able to answer that even more precisely. But the reason why I say it is, we started this evaluation and execution of the legendaries after a lot of these systems have been refined, have been changed, have been transformed to give us a much better sense of what this game needs to be, both for ourselves and also for you guys. And through that, we've been able to shape and change the legendaries accordingly to make them far more vast, far more fun, far more intuitive, far more goofy in some cases, all of that stuff. So the development of those legendaries definitely does look different from, I think, our initial concepts to a degree, right? But we knew we wanted them to have all of these really powerful effects and to stand out from the peers of basically everything else in that category, right? So Eye of the Storm, it's just straight up a better sensor from every other thing that's simply not a legendary, but because it's restricting you to just one item slot for a legendary, that means you have to pick and choose what your legendary is replacing really carefully, right? So I don't think that we had the initial thought, for example, of being able to only use one legendary at the start of the game. But we've seen through the natural progression and how our statistics have worked and how we've adjusted level scaling and how we're going to adjust level scaling further, through all of that, it's a no-brainer for us to now cultivate them in this style, still allowing room for improvement and growth, while requiring intellect on the player's part to accomplish those wonderful things. So I hope I answered that as clearly as possible. They've evolved a lot, but a lot of the work, most of the work on these legendaries truly has been in recent time. So cool. Next question. And there will not be Starforged Legendary. I see that, I know I've seen that question before. I just want to answer that right now. There will not be Starforged Legendaries. There will not be. We've already got some randomization going on and some other things planned. So no, Starforged is not for Legendaries. Next question. Let's get out of this before I get in trouble.
It's another question from Dominic over on YouTube. Will energy orbs be revamped because they are very OP in their current state? And also, will energy orbs be available in the rifts?
So energy orbs will be available in the rifts. We've actually adjusted energy orbs quite heavily. And sure, we're pretty happy with where they're at in the current build. I'm wondering why you feel like they're OP. I certainly know that if you are constantly grabbing them in the heat of battle, it's keeping your energy up, it's giving you light little boosts. We want that. If you are engaged and you are continuing to swoop around and pick them up and you are, you know, accomplishing the combat by getting into that fray, I feel like that system is working as intended. But if you do feel strongly about something that feels too powerful, or you have a suggestion of how you would change it even, definitely use the search feature on the Steam forums, because there have been discussions surrounding that. And we may or may not have even pulled some of those ideas in order to facilitate better growth of play. So yeah, next question, please.
Excellent. Right, Dragon T over on YouTube asks, will the rifts and HRAs have some chaotic random modifiers that mess with one's expectations more, such as a scout with more armor, with the armor of a bomber and mine-crapping skills of a demolisher?
So we are definitely playing around with some interesting features. Mutators, I think is the word here. And we do want to make sure that the rifts feel much more unique than something like an HRA. Like you guys had you'd made mention of that last week. We already, we knew that, like, but like, yeah, everything that we're doing and pertaining to these rifts, it's an expansion of the challenges within that you're not going to find anywhere else. So yes, you will find some unique outliers aside from just the mutator, right? Aside from just the enemy types and the groups that they're in, right? And that should encourage a large number of build opportunities to be utilized and also exploitations to find. Cool, next question.
Marvelous answer. Resurgam over on YouTube asks, does a higher lunacy decrease the progress gain from kills or increase the passive resolve loss? No.
Neither of them. We wanted them to be basically, all of that is the same. The only thing that's changing is what you see here. You see the enemy damage change, the enemy hit points change, the loot quality, which let's be specific about loot quality because I still think some people are confused about what that means. Loot quality affects the tier, and actually recently added, now it also affects the grade of the equipment that drops. So let's just pretend that your loot quality is 0% and you complete a rift, okay? Or any event, and 10 items drop, okay? Those 10 items that generate with a 0% loot quality applied to them means they're gonna be in that standard range based on what your level is and generate your commons, uncommons, rares, superiors, you know, all of that type of stuff. Also, your prototypes, your superiors, it's gonna, prototypes and your, what's the other one? Shoot. Starforged, brain fart, sorry. All of those elements are going to be very rare to acquire. It's gonna be much more difficult. When your loot quality goes up, you still only get 10 items that drop. However, the odds of them being a common item are way down. That just went down by a long shot, and superior went up. Starforged chance went up. All of the things that you want from items go up on the loot quality percentage, okay? It's not how much stuff drops, it's the quality of the stuff that drops. Okay, and then last but not least, we also have the legendary equipment, the chance that it drops versus the crafting parts. I'm gonna do this 300, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die, but we're gonna try it anyway. We do have 2 legendaries, and I'm feeling good about that. But anyway, so we're gonna hold that right here on the screen as we answer a couple more questions. I think that was the full-blown response to that question. I think that was clear. I hope.
Pretty good, yeah.
Okay.
Even with the brain fart, that was good, yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
A question from Fins over on YouTube.
Okay.
A question about AI in rifts. Are enemies intended to operate individually in rifts, like each trying to kill us, or do they or will they use some team tactics to coordinate their attacks?
So this is something that we're actually looking into. So one of the things I even talked with Hans Christian today, or was it yesterday? It was recently. We want to make sure that the units do stand out a bit more, just in general, let alone the rifts. And one of those things that we have been kind of like looking into and talking about at the least has been the AI. This is something that I've talked about for as long as I can remember, honestly. Because we do want like higher level enemies to perform more adamantly than the lower level ones. We don't want it to just be a difference of, well, this enemy has 50 hit points and this one has 75. Like, we want it to be more like, this enemy is performing this basic maneuver and this enemy is performing this advanced maneuver, even though they're the exact same type of enemy. So just know that that's what we want to explore in that territory moving forward. But also with rifts, just kind of give you one sort of slice of how we want to move forward is we would kind of prefer to have certain arrangements of enemies appear as opposed to them just warping all willy-nilly. Because much like you, it sounds like, at least, I don't like how they're just like completely sporadically warping in, and a lot of our team doesn't either. We think that there does need to be a little bit more control over that, and we are looking into it. So, cool. Next question, please.
A bit of a technical one, this one from T3 Cube on Twitch. Okay. For a while now, we have had an issue with link drones existing even after the outlaw drone carrier was destroyed.
Yep.
Could you perhaps give some insight as to why this one is difficult to nail down?
You know, it's ironic because like as I was doing the rifts today, like I was having a conversation with Hans Christian right before. I talk to Hans Christian a lot, can you tell? But like right before the stream, he'd even expressed to me like, yeah, we got this lockdown. Drones shouldn't be lingering after you complete the stuff anymore. And I did a smoke test. Everything was fine. It was wonderful. And then here we are in the stream and you saw it. We completed the area and then there's some drones. Why this happens? You know, if developers knew why every single bug was happening ever, there would be no bugs in games. So it's one of those constant battles that we will continue to fight because they're not supposed to be there. It's applicable to the drone carriers, it's applicable to HRAs, and now it's also, frankly, affecting our rifts. We don't want it to. We'll try to isolate, destroy it, because that's what we do as developers. So, and any feedback you guys have, you have thoughts and suggestions on how to address it, you've got repro steps. I mean, we clearly do too. It's pretty basic, but yeah, I mean, shoot us on the forums with your bugs and technical issues, and if you got some knowledge that somehow we don't, yeah, we can isolate and address. With the power of you, more power to you. Next question.
Next up, your history over on YouTube, great name. Right now, the game is playable on the Steam Deck. Will the ongoing dev retain this feature, i.e. it's their main platform now for playing?
Main platform? Oh goodness, no. I don't think the Steam Deck is going to be our main platform. Our target...
I think it's regards your history, that's their main platform.
Oh.
So they like to play on the Steam Deck more so than maybe a PC. Got it.
My apologies. I heard that incorrectly. So so I think a lot of people have been asking if we're going to support the Steam Deck specifically because, you know, you could basically play any game that exists on PC on a Steam Deck to varying results, right? It's a matter of the developers recognizing where it needs to be in order to operate on the system that is the Steam Deck. This is how general porting works too. It's like, oh, we want to bring the game to the PlayStation 4. Well, we have to adhere to the specs of the PlayStation 4, right? Just an example. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that there's intention behind bringing EVERSPACE 2 to as many platforms as possible and optimizing and supporting and all of that stuff, because I mean that's better for the player base, that's better for us. It's gonna just be a process of figuring out what works best with the time that we have, the tools that we have, the money that we have, you know, development in general. And I know that we will be making announcements this winter, Michael, about, I think it's oh my gosh, this is something I ask Michael like every week, and I'm so sorry, Michael, I really should remember. But we will be making announcements as to like what consoles that we're coming to, or, you know, systems, or, you know, add-ons, or whatever, all this types of thing. Palm OS, get it next year, you know, whatever. So yeah, so stay in tune with that. Michael responded, so thank you for this. He says specifically, Steam Deck is already supported, but not fully optimized yet. So we do have to go in and tweak some stuff. So the plan is we are supporting Steam Deck. So there we go. Fingers crossed to have it fully optimized at 1.0 release. There's a lot of work to get that done. So we do appreciate your patience as we get there. And, you know, as much as I hope that the game will be entirely perfect when we reach that point, I'm already calling it. There's going to be like 3 major hot fixes after full release. That's my guess. It's 3. Let's lock that in. Let's all right. Good question. Next question.
Next up, Fins again on Tube of You. Questions about further itemization. Are there any plans to add item modifiers with bonuses to resolve higher than 100% max, slower decay, etc., and or progress in the rifts?
Those could be interesting. Next question.
Good one. Next one actually is from Fins again. Question about stat bonuses on legendaries. Is it possible to find 2 otherwise identical legendaries which only differ in what stat bonuses they offer?
Yeah, so basically the unique ability of the legendaries, it's always locked in. We don't want that to randomize. So for example, on Eye of the Storm here, secondary weapons will always critical hit with your ult charge is below 50%. That 50% will never change. It will always remain that. Every Eye of the Storm you find, it will be exactly that. Then the modifiers below it can be different. They can be different. Generally speaking, the legendaries should have 4 modifiers. Hans Christian, we changed that? Did we sneak that down? I think we were planning on having it 4. Maybe we've reduced it to 3 since it has like a really super powerful ability. But the intentionality behind it is there's always going to be that super powerful thing. Optimizing like the absolute perfect build for your attributes, it's going to require a healthy grind on that front, but we don't want that to really be a focal point. Hence why we don't have legendaries have the prototype and the Starforged grades, okay? So I do like that question a lot. I appreciate you allowing me to clarify that for everybody else. Yeah, that's more or less how we're approaching that generation. No, Flory, I know that that's what Casper said last week, that it was supposed to be 3 to 4, because we did have some generating at 4, but we've made changes since last week. And everything that I've picked up this week so far has only had 3 or none. So there's a chance that it's been modified, and that's why I was making that statement. Anyway, a lot changes in a week, believe it or not. A lot changes in a week. So, next question.
Right, we've got 2 more questions and then a request.
Ooh, in a request? Oh boy.
Yeah.
Do I need to change my?
Pandora's box again. Was it ever mentioned? So this is the question one from Bearded Frog. Was it ever mentioned if higher than player level legendaries are capable of dropping?
That has not been mentioned. That's a particularly interesting concept, and we take that incredibly seriously, how we want to approach the in-game state, especially with how the difference in later levels makes a strong impact. And you know this, like a lot of you guys know this, like you're looking at the difference between like a level 4 and a level 5 and it's like meh. You're looking at the difference of a level 24 and a level 25 and you're like, whoa. And that's only going to escalate even further if we get to like level 30 and level 31, right? So we're not quite at the phase of evaluating how that's all going to come together, let alone balancing those antics, but do know that it is something we are we have a very watchful eye on, very keen eye on approaching to make sure it feels right if we move in that direction, or if it feels wrong, we remove that direction, okay? So just so that you are also aware though, general intent is we would like there to be flexibility of levels, like even above the player level. That is something that we are already kind of conceptually looking into, but it's not a guarantee. I'm not saying it's like gonna happen. I'm not saying that there's, you know, anything else on that front other than we're being incredibly careful and we want to be delicate in that approach regarding that content. That's a make or break sort of thing for us, honestly. That is the in-game content. And if that's functional, awesome. If it's overpowered, big problems. We want you to feel super strong, but we also want you to still be challenged by what the game has in store. Cool. Do we have another question, or is we on to the
Yeah, we've got one
request?
more question and then the request.
All right.
Can the legendary crafting parts be used to create more powerful mods for lower tier weapons as a way to keep Rifts relevant, since you can only have one legendary device? That was Resurgam on YouTube.
Okay. 1 second. So I know that you guys saw last week where there was an item that was dropping that was being collected in the middle of the rifts that I was doing. And I only mentioned it and then I didn't talk about it any further. For good reason. For good reason. I kind of dropped off on that because there still are a lot of elements of the rift that we are working on, we're bringing together. If you guys are wondering what I'm doing right now, I'm looking at some quick notes just to make sure that I'm conveying the proper information on this front. I think this is a really good question. But it does not look like we are in a position to talk about it yet. So what I can tell you is that we want there to be incentives to do these rifts and collect these legendary crafting components far more than just having a legendary and having legendary components exist. Obviously, they're gonna be used for stuff. We'll get into the nitty-gritty and the meat of what that looks like in a future time. So I do appreciate your patience as I completely avoid answering your question. This is something that we want to do right. We want to do very correctly so that when it's presented, you have a full understanding of how that's going to shape and change all of that in-game content when we get there. So I just can't talk about it yet. That's really what it comes down to. I love the question though. I love the question. I can tell that you guys care. You are eager to see what's around the corner. You want to make sure that the in-game content is memorable. It's important. Everything is so good. It's so good. And then I get poked. And one other thing to mention. Actually, no. Hans Christian, did you tell the chat that? Did you tell that? That's secret. You didn't say that, did you? Did you? Hang on a second. It's just Hans Christian and I. Everybody else move over. Hans, yo, hey. So, because we will have a conversation about the legendary crafting stuff in the future. I know that for sure. I know that for sure, and you guys clearly know that too. But yeah, I think that we are. Yeah, we're gonna reserve. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna wait to talk about that for later. Okay, all is well and fine and dandy, and Michael is pleased. All right. All right. So what's this request? Oh gosh.
Right. This has come from both YouTube and Twitch. And to be fair, it's to do with the lunacy level, and they just want to see how bad 500% is and how long you're gonna last. Okay.
So I do have 2 legendaries now. And you know, for all intents and purposes, at level 22, this is gonna be. I might have a little bit of a chance, but I'm not hopeful. So yeah, let's go ahead and look at one level 500. The only reason I have hesitated on doing this is because, guys, sincerely, this is not balanced yet, okay? So what I am about to show you at level 500 could actually mean nothing. I'm serious. Like, me showing you this could literally mean nothing on the front of where things are actually going to be at with the fall update, okay? I want to be so clear on that front. Development is a very tricky beast. The balance of the end game is It's the most important thing when it comes to replayability. You all know that. You're gamers. We get it. We're developers. And that's got to be the core focal point of getting this down, right? So I will show you the level 500. That's fine. I will show you the level 500. But again, this might not mean a damn thing. Let's try it. Let's try it. Here we go. And once I die from this, which should probably be sooner than later, we will then, we'll move into probably screenshots. All right, so we did our combo to put as much pressure on this guy as we could, and even still, woo! This is one enemy. All right, we got one, ladies and gentlemen. We got one. Let's try and get another. Oh yes, shields left. Oh gosh dang it. I'll get rid of that armor drone. Actually, seeing my legendaries are helping me quite a lot here. Good, good. Wow. I'm holding my own, and I'm feeling really good about this. Oh my gosh. Pretty sure if I beat this right here, oh yeah, there it goes. Pretty sure that if I were to beat this, just like first try with just a couple legendaries, the team would just pow out in the back and be like, all right, up the numbers by 1,000. Like, this is gonna be one of the hardest, if not will be the hardest challenge in the game. And I mean very serious business. Yeah, there we go. Very serious business when, firing my weapons. Very serious business when I say we want to make sure that it's going to grind you up and spit you out if you do not take care and prepare for it. So, yeah. Excellent. I do see a question that was asked to the side, and I just want to answer it. Just want to read it off really quickly because Michael did, and just put a little bit more emphasis on it since this is something that was talked about a while back. So, complete change of pace. You guys remember that outlaw dreadnought, and you remember that Leviathan, the creature, the massive creature that we showed? Yeah, so we have expressed that it's probably not likely that the Leviathan will be in the 1.0 release. So that is sad. Yes, it is in fact sad. But also know that doesn't mean we're not going to make it. We are absolutely doing some free DLC following the game, and pretty confident that that's where the actually no, I should say that better. You will see the Leviathan in EVERSPACE 2. Like, guaranteed, locked in. We've said it. It's going to happen, okay? Just might not be in that 1.0 release. Outlaw Dreadnought, you know, what do we know? It's possible that it could be there. It's possible that it'll sneak in a little bit later. But just because this kind of opens up a little bit of a door of conversation, know that, please understand, if you guys saw it, you heard us talk about it, if there was discussions in these streams, yeah, everything's kind of like work in progress, to be determined, blah, 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 blah. There are key enemies, systems, bonuses, legendaries, items, you know, all these things that we want to ensure happen because of even our starting point. Way back in the Kickstarter, we had a vision of the Outlaw Dreadnought. We had a vision of the Leviathan. Like, these are not something that came up new and like, oh, let's see if we can fit these in if we have time. They were from the beginning, okay? So know that. Please know that. Like, we are wanting to push every single element that we had at the start when we opened those doors for the Kickstarter and said, this is what's gonna happen. The only time there will be exceptions to that is when we communicate with you on all the channels and say, we have to do this other thing, or we have to cut that out, or we have to put more emphasis on this because, and give you the exact reason and the understanding as to why. So far, I don't think this has happened. I think every single key point, every single promise, every single everything that we have said to this point, made public to you all about what's moving into the game space, is in fact happening. I sincerely think that. I don't believe there was anything that we said was gonna happen and it's no longer happening. If that ever happens, we will let you know. We are not gonna sideline you, wait for 1.0 release, get your money because you bought the game expecting something, and then have it not happen. That sucks. That's not cool, and that's not us, okay? So please know that. Please know that. Okay. Whew, I think, I think that what I'm gonna do here, man, there's so many more legendaries to show and talk about, but there's also so many beautiful screenshots. And I think what I want to do is dive into the screenshots. If we get a little bit at a time, like if I can blow through these screenshots and answer some more questions, maybe we'll revisit and do like another quick run and grab some more legendaries or something to showcase. Because I'm pretty happy with a lot of them. They're a lot of fun. But for now, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and transfer over to our screenshots. The way this is gonna work is I'm gonna show you a handful that you guys are awesome with. We're gonna answer some questions together. You can keep asking questions through the entire course of our screenshot segment, and I will keep answering them questions, okay? And based on where we're at the very end, we might revisit, we might, do whatever, we might have some fun. I probably will do some beatboxing today, I think. Whatever. Yeah, so, transition! Just gonna grab some images that you made. No big deal. No big deal. And go over here. Magic. It's beautiful. It's magical. Everything about it I love. All right. So let's get into this. Let's get into this. So right out of the gate, we've got Crispy Muffin, and I just would like to say, Crispy Muffin, you're being a little too awesome, okay? You gotta dial it back. I need you to like mess up intentionally. You're making other people feel bad, especially myself. Your photography is on point. Not only did I and the community choose 7 of your photos through this segment today, but one of your shots is actually the thumbnail of the freaking YouTube video. Like, stop it, all right? Dial it down. Share some love, let other people get on this. Just a stellar shot. Honestly, I feel like this gives me some Top Gun vibes for some reason. But explosive. Super cool. I like it. I dig it. Next up, we got BW Lambrecht, and we got 2 shots from him. So as we cycle through both of these, let's go ahead and answer a question. I love highlighting and answering questions at the same time. It makes me happy. So.
Right, Deathrex over on YouTube. I noticed that the system used to constrain legendaries works similar to Destiny 1 and 2 exotic weapons. Is this coincidence?
I don't know, Michael, is that Oh my gosh. No, we love the games we play. And if a game is doing something right, and for good reason, like if there's a profound reason why a mechanic is happening in the way that it is, yeah, like we love it. There's a reason why on our hearts, like we desire these really rich, good, engaging things. And this goes far outside of gaming. This conversation's getting deep. Don't worry, I'm not gonna go that deep. But in short, right, when we are approaching our own game space, which is our baby, and we are doing everything in our power to do what is right, what is good, what is fruitful for us, for our vision, then inherently Like, we're gonna receive you and how you're taking it in. We're gonna value that feedback immensely. Oh, I went too far. Oh, this is also BW Lampet. We're gonna take all of that stuff as powerful as we can, because we know how serious you guys are about the games that you play. You don't play games that suck. We don't either. Well, actually, sometimes we have to for research purposes, but like, the point is, if we find something that is just hella fun in another game, we want to acknowledge that, we want to be empowered by that, and we want to be inspired by that. And in EVERSPACE 2, we do feel that there's a powerful fit with legendaries transforming a certain aspect of the player's build without having all these stacked legendaries give you just all this screen noise, is what I'm gonna call it, like all these fireworks and colorations, when that's just not, I personally don't think that's as fun. When you are able to focus in on one really cool aspect, like a legendary bonus, there is a lot of diversity and rewarding to the player for working around that, as opposed to just slapping all golds across your ship and just spray and pray all day and nothing can beat you because they're all legendaries with superpowers. So, cool. That was a very big answer for saying it's Michael's fault. I'm just kidding, Michael. There's several team members. Seriously. But Michael is, of course, a very big fan of Destiny. I'm sure he could even link you to an article about that. But I digress. Let's go into our next question. But BW Lambert, I love these shots. Really do. Especially this one. It feels like the station's moving across the screen. This way, in fact. I very much enjoy that. I think that is a great shot that you took. So let's go into Thunder Flames and answer a question.
Next question comes from Bearded Frog on YouTube again, and it has been answered by Hans Christian. But we'll spread the love of the answer. Is there any final stance decision yet in regards to catalysts and legendaries, aka adding rapid or optimized to a legendary? Optimized especially makes a big difference and reduces RNG. Now, Hans Christian did answer with no final decision has been made.
Thank you for answering it like that, Hans Christian. That is a beautiful answer. I approve. 10 out of 10, 100%. Next question. wait, hold on to the next question. I moved past that so fast. Okay, whoa. Okay, so let's give just a tad bit more clarity, okay? So, there's a lot we want to do with the in-game state, okay? It's not just a matter of, hey, let's go through these rifts and you just like do these random things that are basically some semblance of what you've been doing the entire rest of the game, the entire time, and then you get legendaries for it. Done. Some of you guys saw that last stream and thought that was the intent, and I'm telling you right now, that's not the intent, okay? That is not the vision. We want there to be a lot of unique options and pathways you can take when you reach this in-game step. And one of those steps happens to be revolving around the systems that we have in place that you can use, that in some cases are already in the game, and others that we are looking to implement. So when we say no final decision, that doesn't mean no, but it also means we're taking a lot of great care in looking at how we can transform this space. There you go. All right. Thunderflame. I love this shot approaching the this ancient station that's going to unleash the fury of the ancients all over the place. Definitely love it. Gives me really strong vibes. For some reason, I also enjoy how washed out it is. Generally speaking, I like high contrast where you have the darks and the lights, but it works here. It's pleasant. So thank you for that. We also have my button not working. There we go. We have the Chemical Bro always slapping in some sexy screenshots. This one I dig so much. I love the focus here on the station itself, right? You see Zerilia, you see the emblem, you see the pathway in, you've got all of this clutter around. The focus isn't the ship. The focus never was, but you see the progress towards this. It's this destination that's so important. Or maybe even the journey of the ship getting to that destination, whatever. And I love how it just brings this element of what's gonna happen next, what's in here. How is, what, I keep saying what, but like what's gonna happen? Like all of this stuff, like it comes up just looking at a single screenshot. Think it's powerful on that front. Great use of depth of field. 10 out of 10, love it. Solid stuff. We got Excel, who's also having a nice leisurely stroll through the clouds. Honestly, the reason I loved the screenshot is just look at this player ship. That's so clean. Those colors. Excel. Oh my gosh. I dig that. Look at me getting all excited. I mean, I love it. Like everything from like just the slight metallic tones that you're utilizing here to, you know, the alternate coloration to the text just brings this thing full circle. And gosh, I love that. I love the blend that you have made. I also love how like the shimmer on the silver colors that you've chosen echoes like these bronze and these silver pipings, and I'm melting. I'm just literally melting right now. I'm just like, I love it. It's so good. Great ship. Love the stylization. I need some pointers from you because I'm really bad at coloring my ships apparently. So good job. Very, very nice. Hi, Barf. We are just taking a stroll through the land of Prescott Starbase. I like this close-up of this little vessel as I'm going to answer a question as we continue the travel to Prescott Hospital.
Okay, Bearded Frog on YouTube asks, can we expect more challenge types potentially in these rifts, like the challenges added in the summer update, i.e. no primary weapons?
So, there's definitely the possibility. Next question.
Next question, Resurgam on YouTube. And Hans Christian has answered this one as well. So is there any penalty for failing a rift? And Hans Christian did say that there may be something you have to invest to create a rift later in the game, but not in the next update.
Yeah, so and I do want to clarify this one. I don't think this is too revealing, so so I will explain this a little bit further. What Hans Christian is referring to is a potential system that you have to acquire some special item that allows you to open a rift, okay? So we'll call it ancient rift parts. I don't know, whatever, okay? You would only be able to acquire those at like a certain part of the story, maybe from certain events that happen in the story, maybe from certain enemy types, etc., etc., etc. And then once you acquire enough of them, you could open a rift. Maybe you'd have to invest more of those parts to change the lunacy level. You know, there's a lot of concepts on that front and how we want to approach it. In the update itself that we will be releasing in early access, I don't believe we're planning on doing any of that just because we want it to be accessible for you to dive in, to test out, all that type of stuff. So it's probably gonna feel like we nerf it after the fact. I'm telling you right here, right now, folks, we have a design plan for how this is gonna work. We don't want you spamming rifts all the time. You're not gonna have them accessible until you're at least level 10, but probably more than likely around level 20. We want it to be something you have to put effort into in order to get value out of. And if you are constantly dying, then you're losing the resource, in which case to continue putting into it. And then you'll have to, you know, navigate that process accordingly. So it's not so much a loss of like, you're not penalized for anything. You're not like, you don't lose a weapon slot or, you know, any bull crap like that. It's simply, you might not have access into it again because you have to go do something else first, right? So we'll see what happens. But I just want to be a little bit more, clear on what that looked like for your general knowledge. Cool. So we've got both of these from Highbarf. I love the way that you're traveling through Prescott and you see just the general, you know, locales. Maybe these are all drone ships, who knows? Maybe everybody's just sitting on their computers inside of these locations that they're not social at all, and this is just food being delivered to them, just a bunch of Ubers. And I love it though. I think it's great. I also, I love seeing more screenshots of vessels that don't get a lot of love. Something I just kind of drew me into on this front. So nice focus on that. Are we doing on time? Good, good. I also like seeing Prescott Starbase, Prescott Hospital rather, because nobody seems to take screenshots of it. Oh my gosh, this place deserves more love. I like the symbology there. I think it's great. I love seeing the tower in the background and the updated gibbles, I believe is what the terminology. All of these structures that you see in Prescott that have optimized and just improved the visualization thereof. So clean shots, I dig it. We're gonna move into another one from Phantom Lord. I had to look at this shot several times, and it makes me happy every time, because the first time I thought, wait, is there an explosion happening on the planet? No, but it kind of looks like that. It's really cool. Wait a second, is this EVERSPACE 1? No, that's EVERSPACE 2 because of the asteroid formation. Like, I like how almost provocative it is in the sense of like making you think it's something that it's not. Very, very cool. It's trying to trick your eyes. So cool, I like that shot, very good. I do also like the depth of field to put more of the focus on the action and what's happening in the middle as opposed to the ship. I think that works rather well. We've got Dark Chaos here, traveling through a dark and chaotic tunnel, probably. I love the light source that comes across with the orange on the top, the red on the bottom, ship with the orange engines, with the red colorations, the blue lights, all nice little contrasts going on. This feels good. It's incredibly centralized, and sometimes that can be a powerful tool, especially when that center point isn't massive. And I do think it's captured incredibly well here, especially with the framing being those darker colors, leading your eyes right into the middle of the scene. Solid shot, Dark Chaos. We're gonna do one more, and then we're going to go into more questions. This one's from Flory. Again, I like showing stuff that a lot of people don't pay a lot of attention to. Always makes me happy. This is a satellite that is firing its lasers. This is only found in one location to my knowledge, I think. Have we reused this asset, honestly? Oh, I said gribbles. It's greebles. Oh my gosh. Anyway, whatever. The satellite, we don't use this asset very often, and whenever you guys catch an asset that is being used sparingly and you highlight it, it's always fun to look at because you're like, wait a second, where is that? How did you get that? What's going on? It just makes me happy. Just makes me happy. So great shot. We're gonna move in and look at another crispy muffin shot as we answer another question.
Thunderflame over on YouTube asks the question, do secondaries that deal no damage, like destabilizers, webbers, etc., interact with crits? Are you planning on making them interact?
It's to my knowledge that as of right now, they do not. If we were to implement a crit, basically the percentage of damage increase, it would be applicable to the percentage of the status that it's applying, right? I know that we've talked about this internally before. I just think it's something that we haven't gotten back to. It's kind of, I don't want to say on the back burner, it's just not as important of discussion right now, since we really do want to flesh out these in-game properties, the rifts, the legendaries, all of that stuff. So we could see that get changed in the future, but as of right now, it's just not a priority. So, but I like that conceptually a ton. I personally think that that would be a solid direction to go in. We'll see if that's possible, how that affects the balance and all that other stuff. So this shot, again, this one was from Crispy Muffin. Love the way that you're just flying forward, looking into new sights, new sounds. Always dig it. We're gonna get into another Crispy Muffin. I love the way that the light source is utilized here. Just that sense of scale is terrifying in the best way possible. You're just a speck in this, what looks to be like almost like a destroyed resource alcove, and that's it. That's all there is to it. It's just phenomenal on that front. So great photos from Crispy Muffin. We also have one here from Kazaa, who's doing his vertical slice, just vertical shot. It's not a vertical slice, whatever. Anyway, the point is it's vertical, and he's got some really nice alignment going on to highlight a number of different things in this space. Love that explosion. And by explosion, I mean star behind the top. Is there actually an explosion there? Is that at the same time as the... No, clear that's not. I can't tell. Kazaa, quit being a wizard. Anyway, I love it. It's great. All the use of the lights and the light and the ship and the things. Also, I like your gunship. It looks pleasant. It's good decoration. Retaliator. Solid. We're gonna bounce into Thunder Flames as we answer another question. Thunder Flame. This one actually got a lot of ups from other members in the Discord. Gunship Week. Thunderflame always does a different ship every week, and this one was last week. He was doing the gunship, so I love those shots. So let's hear another question.
Last one that I've got up to now is from Wizard Jerry over on YouTube. Will there be 1 or 2 new set items in this fall update, not legendaries?
Man. I know that we haven't been working on a lot of set stuff since we want to hit the promises of the fall update. Like, that's the primary focus. If we don't get the rifts in a state that can be play tested accordingly by the fall update, then we've failed, right? So that has to be what we work on. Now, alongside, of course, the rifts, you know, we have the legendaries, so that's why those are being worked in tandem. There will still be more legendaries that come after the fall update. I am confident of that. And I also know that we will absolutely have more set items in the future. When they are introduced into the game, that's such a hard question to answer. Obviously, we want them in now, but the reality is, with our focus and addressing the needs of this fall update, it's probably not likely that we'll see more sets this fall. But rest assured, we do have quite a few new sets that are going to be introduced into the game, especially by the 1.0 release. So, do enjoy that question. Kind of sucks on how I have to answer that, but that's where our focal point is. I want you to know that, so your expectations are driven accordingly from that front. We have another shot over here from, is this another one from Crispy Muffin? I think it is. Yeah, it is. Jeez, you mad lad. This one also got a lot of likes. I dig it so much. I love the way it looks like the missile just immediately launched and hit its target, even though the missile launcher is on the top of the ship. It looks like it fired from underneath. I don't care. It looks awesome. Great use of the depth of field too, to just give that additional scope, that space going on here. And naturally, you always choose like the best ships that you have the greatest module selection. You've grinded it out so much, I know, to get exactly what you want, and it comes together really well. So very commendable, solid screenshots. Moving on over to yet another Crispy Muffin. Let's be real, the shot itself isn't the best. I'm just being honest, okay? A Crispy Muffin knows this too. The highlight is this freaking smoke screen, all right? Like, look at this. Look, what is, I love it. I think that this guy was thrown asunder somehow, and therefore awesome. Like, that's just crazy. That's super crazy. I am curious how that specifically happened, Crispy Muffin, but it's great. We also had we had a bug with the Redeemer big ships. What are they called now? We've changed the name on them a couple times. Where whenever they were destroyed, sometimes they could get thrown asunder too, and had impressive smoke trails too. Not technically intended, but the big thing is that we don't want these things getting thrown into the player, because that collision damage could be unforgiving, to say the least. Still cool to look at, so thanks for the share. We got another one from Chemical Bro, who is flying down to this icy planet with a lot of things to do and look at, it seems like. And while we were looking at this one, we are going to answer another question.
I've got one that's coming from Spoon Knight over on Twitch. For screenshot purposes, is there any discussion on having mission-specific locations open post-story, like the caves in Cephas Downs?
There are certain locations that are more designed for one-time purpose, and there are certainly a number of locations that are designed for revisiting. I think for Cephas Downs, the underside of the planet is cultivated for story-driven purposes. You know, you don't generally want to go into caves so much in this game, but there is still an incentive to go back, because if you return to Cephas Downs and you look at the resources that are at the planet, you're only finding those within the caves. So if you look at Cephas Downs, you're like, I want that resource, I'm nearby, I can fly over to it, you're gonna have to go spelunking in order to get it. So, and there is some design intent on a number of locations that are kind of more like the one-time onlys, where if you return to them, there's still aspects that can enrich the experience further, like returning for resources, other aspects too. And you know, it's kind of a tricky beast to handle, but we are doing our due diligence so that you can see all the hard work that's done in handcrafting every location, right? Like, it would be a dang shame if we spent all this time decorating these massive landscapes. You visit it for 30 minutes in the game, you have 5,000 hours, and you've never returned since because there's literally no point to, right? So there should, we do have incentives on that front, even if it's just like resource collection. But in general, it's likely that the majority of, well, I shouldn't say majority, that there will be locations though that they're just not going to be as interesting to go back to more than others. That's just the reality of it. I think that it's safe to say, regardless of what we try to accomplish. So, yeah. Goodness. All right. Let's go into another screenshot here. This one was, I think this was taken today, wasn't it? Either that or yesterday. A new user, I think, popped in and supplied this one. That's great. That's a great looking shot. Nice and clean. You don't have to like doll it up all fancy like. You got everything you need. You got a proto scout behind you. You got your interceptor in front. You got a nice landscape, some light, some laser beams. Boom, bada bing, bamboozle. I dig it. It's solid. I love it. Keep it up. Solid, great introductory shot into the screenshot. And I want to see more. It's great. Also try to use F11. So anytime you see these black borders around, this is a Steam screenshot. But if you press F11, you're actually taking an Unreal screenshot. And the Unreal screenshots are taken at your screen's resolution. Or at the game's resolution that you're running it at, to be more clear. So yeah, just a little trick on how some of these guys are having like these insanely refined shots. If you're just taking screenshots in Steam and you're like, well, how come it doesn't compare? That's why. Because this is a great shot. It really is. It's a great shot. And just keep in mind, you can do some tricks to make the resolution even better. Wait, did I say something wrong? Oh, it's F. Wait, what did I say? F11. Well,
pick an F key. Anyone, doesn't matter.
You can do the rest of the stream, Geekbite. Oh my gosh. All right. Anyway, sorry about that. Yes, F10 for screenshots. All right. So this screenshot comes from Phantom Lord. Just solid progression through a system. And I love how we've got this station in the background too, just to add a little bit of mystery to it. Alt F4. I see it in the chat. Gosh. All right. All right, guys. All right. Let's answer another question.
The other one I've got,
okay.
You can answer it if you feel like it or not. Slorine and Bearded Frog on YouTube want to know what you and your offspring are doing for Halloween.
I mean, not too much. We're just kind of hanging out, hunkering down. Yeah, we're just taking care of ourselves. It'll be good. I don't think that's anything super wild. At most, we're gonna be going to a pumpkin patch. We planned on doing it last week, but kids got sick. But you know, life happens. There'll be lots of candy, I'm sure, and it'll be good. It'll be a good time. But yeah, you know what else is a good time? These screenshots that you've been providing. Look at this one. I had to double take this one. The only saving grace for me on this was this little indicator right down here, right where it says EVERSPACE. I thought this was a shot in the Cedo system. Like, straight up thought. And then my brain said, wait, no, Cedo only has 1 star. And also, EVERSPACE 2 doesn't have EVERSPACE's logo, obviously. But sincerely, it kind of blows my mind sometimes how much the game has evolved and yet also still harkens back to its roots. Because sincerely, that might even, is that the same planet in freaking, are we right next to that planet in the home base? Like, is that the planet? I want to know. I'm not sure who on the team would know. Probably Marco. I think he does a lot of the skyboxes. But goodness, now I need to know. Marco, I need you to teleport into the stream, answer this question. But I love it. I love the shot. I think the coloration's incredibly nice. Also, harkening back to our roots is always a fun time. Is that a destroyed turret? I think that's what that is. Good stuff. I love it. Thank you for that share. Very awesome stuff from Crispy Muffin yet again. Then our last shot from Crispy Muffin, who's been stealing all of the everythings this stream. It's all new. Okay, but similarly looking plan. Okay, thanks, Michael, for that clarity. I do appreciate that. So it's not just copy pasted over. In fact, I don't think there's a single thing copy pasted over from Everspace 1 to Everspace 2. We have enhanced, refined, updated, or created from scratch everything new in Everspace 2 versus how or why it existed in Everspace 1. So this last shot from Crispy Muffin, he's getting this natural lighting from explosions nearby to just heighten that color palette, that dusky sort of silvery blue, the orange and red. Then you've got these hot explosions nearby. Maybe not too hot, but you can tell like the light source is just enough. Then you've got the cool blue as well hitting to highlight those silvers, and the boosties, the turning boosties. Turning boosties. Wow. Whew, thank you. Oh my gosh. All of this is to say the stream is almost done because my brain is also almost done. Woo! But I love that shot. I think it's a great way to bring together this ship. What is that? Oh, okay, that's a pipe that's turned. I was like, is there like a space worm sucking on the, like, did it get stuck in a tube? No, it's bending around. Okay. It just looked weird for a second. Perfect. And then finally, topping things off, we had Thunderflame sneak in because this week was Scout Week for him. Just a nice, clean, finishing up, bright, fluffy looking shot of the Scout evading a missile because that's what Scouts do best. Actually, no, that's not true. But they're fast enough to do it anyway. Regardless, it's a pleasant shot. I like it. I dig it. Do we have any more questions at this point in time?
No, everybody's had enough now.
Oh, I guess that's good because we're 3 minutes over. Oh my gosh. I'm surprised my wife hasn't knocked on the door. So, guys, thank you so much for all of your time. Geekbite, thanks again for reading the questions. And all of you guys,
you're welcome.
Thank you so much for coming into the streams, having an open mind regarding our development process, because you know, stuff's gonna look weird, it's gonna be awkward, but we're gonna be real with you. We wanna show you where we're at, how things are moving forward. We answered a ton of great questions today. I couldn't do that if you didn't ask. So you guys are the real champions. Honestly, you rock. Thank you for being here, giving me energy, and helping us help you. So we will return next week with more Everspace 2 stuff. I'm hoping that we'll have maybe something a little more unique to show other than just doing more riffs. But regardless, you have been awesome. I have been Eric Schrader, your community ambassador for all things Everspace 2. Don't stop being awesome, and we'll see you next week. Toodles! What are you doing down here? What are you... Your green thing? Oh my goodness. I think mommy lost you because she's probably coordinating with the other kids, isn't she? Hey, do you want to say hi to everybody in the stream? You look up there. You look up at the camera. You say hi.
Hi.
You wave. Can you wave? With your hands. Wave like that. Ah, so sweet. Were you playing with markers by chance?
Yeah.
Were you being naughty with the markers?
Yeah.
I love you. Excellent. All right, well, I gotta go. We'll have some fun post-stream next week, I think. But dad mode activate. Take care, guys. Have a good weekend. All right, let's get you to mommy. You silly goober. What are you doing? Ah.